this was a very interesting night because it combined a lot of the best professional journalists in the Middle East. And for me, this was a very honor to be along with some of the great, courageous journalists who were also honored in this evening. So I think the most important thing about this event is the way it brought people together and helped network, people that have never seen each other in many years.
I think this is a very special event because it honoured a lot of people whose work is not always recognised, particularly outside their own countries.
First of all, it's a great privilege and an honor to have been a recipient of the award here at the Next Century Foundation's International Media Council Awards. There's no doubt that it's a very significant event on many different levels. One, it's always, as a journalist, very inspiring to be in the company of such distinguished peers and to see what other journalists are doing in other parts of the world, and to know that the risks and sacrifices that many of them are making are being acknowledged by the people that we are trying to reach, which is ultimately the viewers. And so when there's an opportunity by any organization and foundation to acknowledge that, it truly is an honor.
For several years I've been reading the work of Daoud Kutab. I'd never met him, and I finally meet him tonight in London at this awards ceremony by the Next Century Foundation. I think this is really a testimony to the way that the foundation brings journalists together. What I think was particularly noteworthy and worthwhile was the way in which the foundation recognized Western journalists, Arab journalists, Muslim journalists, and also prominent Israeli journalists, bringing people together and recognizing the contribution that journalists can make to understanding and also to actually creating positive environments in which peace can flourish.
It's a great honour to be invited tonight and a great pleasure to be here, and above all it was wonderful to be able to meet up with my two other colleagues that we went through the incident with in Tripoli. It's the first time we've been able to get together and have a good talk about it, so it's been a pleasure to be here this evening. I think the awards, it's a great environment to be able to meet other people working in the news field, and it's a great sort of forum to have their efforts acknowledged. I'm always very much behind the camera in these events, and it's also very much a second career for me, but I've been incredibly impressed over the past 10 years with the integrity and the bravery and the sheer go-gettedness of the journalists I've worked with and supported, and I just never dreamt I'd make so many new friends for life in a sort of second career.
I'm extremely happy with the way the International Media Awards went tonight. I was very touched, for example, by what one of our winners said, Jackie Rowland. She got the award for outstanding contribution to broadcasting, and she said thank you very much to the Next Century Foundation for recognizing us, and this means a lot to us journalists. And I felt, when she said that, I really just felt that, well, at least I've done my job tonight, because that was our aim. One of our main aims is to thank those courageous journalists. They are doing their job, but they are in a very complex part of the world, in a very dangerous part of the world. And I would say quite a few of the journalists that won awards tonight were either detained or were beaten or suffered from hear loss, things that we take for granted. But every day we see them doing their job. It's not a glamorous job, it's a very important job that they do, and we are just very grateful for them, and I think we had a good selection.
Well, I have to say that it was really heartwarming, this event today. The awards just took my breath away. There's so many wonderful people, and I was touched by a remark from Goktai, one of the dear BBC guys, the cameraman, actually, who was beaten up in Libya, who said, if you cut one of us, we all bleed. Really, really touched my heart, and it's true, but it's more than that. It's very hard, I think, to be a genuine politician in the Middle East. It's harder still to be a genuine journalist in the Middle East who fights for freedom and understanding, not just in the Middle East, but the Middle East, South Asia. I mean, some of the people, some of the stories that came out tonight were unbelievable. Dilwar Khan was here, what he went through. He lost his brother who was murdered because he was reporting, and he still reports. Some of these men and women are so courageous. It's unbelievable. And you look at the staggering death toll amongst journalists, and it makes your heart, it breaks your heart really, that people are still willing to lay down their lives so that there is better understanding, better communications. And I remember my late father talking about peace through media. I think journalists of the world have a unique responsibility that sometimes they themselves do not recognize as opinion formers. They merely by reporting accurately and informatively, they can change the world. Just merely, no spin, nothing. Just the mere fact that journalists get out there and report the facts changes the world. There are fewer excuses, there is more honesty in international affairs, and there's more hope around. And a lot of that's to do with the press. And the best journalists are really shaping a better future for all of us and for our children.